2 minutes ago. The WNBA's fragile balance snapped and nobody inside the league was ready for how loud the fallout would be. Phones started buzzing, group chats exploded, executives went silent. INAngel Reese, once promoted as the future face of women's basketball, was suddenly the name everyone stopped saying out loud. Not because she didn't matter anymore, but because, according to multiple industry sources, Reebok quietly walked away. No press release, no farewell post, just doors closing, campaigns vanishing, and inventory sinking into clearance racks like a career slipping underwater at the exact same time. On the other side of the business universe, Sophie Cunningham's name was being passed around boardrooms with one word attached to it: record engagement, record merchandise, velocity, record sponsor interest. While Reese was fighting headlines, Cunningham was signing checks, and the contrast was brutal. This wasn't about rebounds, it wasn't about trash talk, it wasn't even about rivalries on the court. This was about power shifting in real time, about brands choosing stability over noise, about sponsors deciding who is safe to bet on when the league itself feels one bad decision away from chaos. INAngel Reese didn't lose a deal because she stopped being famous. She lost it because fame stopped converting into money. Inside the WNBA, players are whispering, agents are panicking, and league executives are staring at an uncomfortable truth they can't spin away. The market just sent a message, and it didn't ask permission before choosing its next star. INAngel Reese didn't just enter the WNBA as another rookie. She arrived carrying a storm behind her, from LSU to the pros. Her rise was built on moments that split the internet in half: championship swagger, unapologetic confidence, and a willingness to lean into being the villain when everyone else wanted to play it safe. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was performing identity, pressure, and defiance all at once. Every glare, every quote, every gesture became a headline, and for a while, that chaos worked. Brands didn't just see a power forward, they saw attention, they saw clicks, they saw controversy that could be turned into culture. Reebok, desperate to claw relevance back in a sneaker world ruled by Nike, took the biggest swing of its modern history. INAngel Reese wasn't just signed, she was positioned as a reset button. Campaigns framed her as bold, disruptive, fearless. The message was clear. This wasn't about fitting in, this was about shaking the table. But behind the cameras, the weight started to build. The WNBA isn't college. There's no bubble of protection, no endless forgiveness for inconsistency. Night after night, Reese was asked to be everything at once: elite rebounder, emotional spark, media magnet, locker room leader, brand ambassador. Every missed layup felt louder because it came with a quote from weeks earlier. Every loss felt heavier because the spotlight never moved on. Meanwhile, the rivalry narrative never let her breathe. Caitlin Clark became the contrast, whether Reese wanted it or not. Clark played the role of calm assassin, letting records speak while Reese absorbed the noise. Fans didn't just compare stats, they compared personalities, tone, likability. And in a league still fighting for mainstream stability, perception became currency. Reese carried the burden of being too much, in a space that still struggles with women who refuse to shrink. Inside locker rooms, emotions grew complicated. Teammates defended her publicly, but pressure leaks through walls. When cameras leave, frustration doesn't. Losses piled up, efficiency dipped. The joy that once fueled her swagger began to look strained. Social media, once her weapon, became a minefield. Every post was dissected, every silence was interpreted as weakness, every response was labeled defiance. While Reese was fighting to hold ground, the business side quietly recalculated. Sneaker sales didn't match projections. Engagement didn't translate the way executives promised shareholders it would. Controversy brought attention but not loyalty. And in corporate rooms, loyalty is everything. Sponsors don't want firestorms. They want predictability. They want faces that sell without explaining themselves. At the same time, another story was forming in the background, one without noise, without league backing, without controversy. Sophie Cunningham wasn't chasing the spotlight. She stumbled into it. A viral moment, an authentic partnership, merchandise that moved faster than anyone expected. No speeches, no positioning, just momentum. And momentum scares executives because it can't be controlled, only followed. INAngel Reese's story didn't fall apart overnight. It cracked slowly under impossible expectations. She was asked to represent progress, rebellion, profit, and performance all at once. And when even one of those slipped, the entire structure started to shake. By the time whispers turned into silence, the decision was already made behind closed doors. Because in the WNBA, history doesn't protect you, popularity doesn't save you, And emotional loyalty means nothing when spreadsheets turn red. And just as Reese realized the ground beneath her was no longer solid, the next phase of this story was already loading, one that would turn quiet discomfort into open war. The real explosion didn't happen on the court. It happened in silence. No press release, no dramatic announcement, just a sudden shift that insiders felt immediately. Meetings that INAngel Reese was once central to, she wasn't invited anymore. Emails that used to CC her team stopped coming. Campaign timelines quietly changed. And inside Reebok, the language shifted from future plans to risk assessment. That's when the main conflict snapped into focus. This was no longer about basketball. This was about control, money, and who sponsors believed could actually carry the league forward. INAngel Reese was still playing, still rebounding, still visible, but behind the scenes, executives were growing uneasy. Her name generated engagement, but not the kind that converts to sales. Focus groups didn't just talk about her game, they argued about her personality. Retail partners complained that customers asked for discounts before even touching her shoes. That's poison in the sneaker business. And while Reese was fighting through scrutiny, another name kept popping up in internal sales reports like a jump scare no one expected. Sophie Cunningham. No league push, no face of the future campaign, just raw demand. Her merch moved faster than forecast. Her collaborations sold out in hours. Retailers asked for restocks without being prompted. And the scariest part for Reebok, Cunningham didn't come with controversy that needed managing. She came with momentum that didn't need explaining. That's when the tone inside the building changed from concern to urgency, sources say. Reebok executives held emergency strategy sessions asking one brutal question: are we backing the wrong star? Because every dollar spent defending INAngel Reese's brand was a dollar not chasing the surge Cunningham was creating organically. And corporations don't do loyalty, they do math. The numbers were cold. Reese's line required constant marketing oxygen. Cunningham sold itself. Then came the first shocking twist. During what was supposed to be a routine quarterly review, key promotional support for INAngel Reese was quietly paused. Not canceled publicly, paused. That word matters. Ad placements delayed. Social campaigns restructured, influencer rollouts reassigned. To the public, nothing changed, but inside the industry, everyone knew what that meant. When a brand pauses belief, it's already halfway out the door. INAngel Reese felt it immediately. Her camp reportedly pushed back, asking questions that didn't get answered directly. Suddenly, conversations were vague, timelines blurred, assurances came without specifics. And when Reese's team asked about upcoming launches, the response wasn't enthusiasm, was caution. That's when panic crept in, because athletes know this truth better than anyone. When sponsors stop being excited, the end comes fast. Meanwhile, the contrast grew sharper by the day. Sophie Cunningham's name began circulating in places INAngel's once dominated. Budget re-up, creative meetings, prototype discussions. Insiders say a major campaign originally sketched around Reese was quietly reworked with Cunningham in mind. No announcement, no explanation, just replacement. The league didn't step in. That was another twist. WNBA leadership stayed neutral, almost distant, as if waiting to see which way the business winds would blow. And that silence spoke volumes. Because when the league doesn't protect, silence spoke volumes. Because when the league doesn't protect you, it's usually because sponsors matter more than narratives. Reese had been promoted heavily, but now the league itself was watching corporate confidence slip away. Social media sensed it before any headline did. Fans noticed fewer Reese ads, fewer collaborations, more whispers, more what happened posts. Meanwhile, Cunningham's visibility skyrocketed. The internet did what it always does, it picked a side. And for the first time, INAngel Reese wasn't controlling the narrative, she was reacting to it. The first real shock wasn't that Reebok was reconsidering, it was that they were already moving on. Because while INAngel Reese was still fighting to prove she belonged at the center of the WNBA's future, the business world had already started writing a different script, one where she was a risk, not a reward. And as that realization hit, the pressure didn't just double, it detonated, because the next phase wouldn't be quiet, it wouldn't be internal, and it wouldn't be reversible. Once this conflict spilled into public view, careers, alliances, and the league's entire power structure were about to be dragged into the light. The escalation didn't come with an announcement, it came with absence. INAngel Reese's face was still everywhere fans expected it to be. But insiders noticed what wasn't there anymore. No fresh sneaker teasers, no countdown campaigns, no behind-the-scenes brand content. The silence wasn't accidental. It was surgical. Reebok hadn't just paused support. They had started withdrawing belief, and that is the most dangerous phase for any athlete-brand relationship. Behind closed doors, executives weren't debating INAngel Reese's talent. They were debating her volatility. One leaked internal memo described her as high engagement, low conversion. That phrase spread through marketing circles like wildfire, because in corporate language, it translates to one thing: noise without profit. Every controversy sparked clicks, but not purchases. Every headline demanded crisis management. Every appearance required disclaimers. And then came the second major twist, the one that flipped everything. Reebok didn't just reduce INAngel Reese's visibility, they quietly greenlit a contingency plan. Multiple sources confirmed that by the time Reese's camp started asking questions, Reebok had already begun reallocating long-term resources away from her line entirely. Manufacturing forecasts were cut, distribution targets were lowered, retail partners were informed off the record that Reese's collection would not be expanded next cycle. That's not a demotion, that's a countdown. At the same time, Sophie Cunningham's rise turned from surprising to unstoppable. Her merchandise didn't just sell, it vanished. Limited drops sold out before marketing emails even finished sending. Retailers requested emergency social media trends didn't need controversy to ignite. Cunningham wasn't being debated, she was being embraced. And for brands, that difference is everything. This is where the escalation turned brutal. Reebok executives reportedly compared to charts side by side. On one screen, INAngel Reese awareness, polarizing sentiment, declining sell-through. On the other, Sophie Cunningham lower initial hype, overwhelmingly positive sentiment, accelerating sales velocity. One required constant defense, the other required nothing but supply. The decision became inevitable, but instead of a clean break, Reebok chose something colder. They let INAngel Reese twist. No public cancellation, no scandal headline, just stalled momentum, delayed payments, strategic reevaluations. That's the corporate equivalent of slowly turning off the oxygen while smiling to your face. Reese's camp reportedly pushed harder, demanding clarity. What they got instead was corporate fog meetings without conclusions, emails without commitments. And then the shockwave hit the locker room. WNBA players began whispering. Teammates noticed Reese's mood shift. Tension followed her, because when a star feels their empire slipping, it shows. Frustration crept into interviews. Body language changed, and the league noticed. Not to intervene but to distance itself, because leagues follow money. And money was clearly choosing a new direction. Social media didn't miss it. Fans started connecting dots. Why is Cunningham everywhere suddenly? Why did Reese's rollout stop? Did Reebok drop her already? Hashtags formed, speculation exploded. And here's the cruel irony: INAngel Reese built her brand on commanding attention. Now attention was devouring her. The second major twist wasn't just Reebok's pivot, it was the league's silence. No statement defending Reese. No reassurance. No narrative correction. That absence confirmed what insiders already knew. The WNBA wasn't going to fight sponsors on this. They weren't going to challenge market reality. If Reebok moved on, the league would adapt. That realization shattered the illusion of protection Reese once believed she had. Meanwhile, Cunningham's momentum crossed a threshold. Sources say her new contract discussions escalated faster than anyone anticipated. What started as a modest upgrade became something else entirely: a record-setting deal that repositioned her as a top-tier commercial asset overnight. And unlike Reese's partnership, this one came without caveats, clauses, or concern meetings. INAngel Reese wasn't just losing a deal, she was losing leverage. And when leverage disappears, everything else follows: media support, league patience, sponsor tolerance. The escalation was no longer theoretical, it was active. It was happening in real time. And the next phase wouldn't be quiet corporate maneuvering, it would be public. Because once fans, analysts, and rival players fully realized that one of the league's most promoted stars was being replaced by market forces she couldn't control, the fallout would turn emotional, vicious, and impossible to contain. And that's when the war stopped being about sneakers and became about survival. The fallout didn't arrive politely, it detonated. Within hours of whispers becoming trends. Timelines flooded with split screens: INAngel Reese on one side, Sophie Cunningham on the other. Clearance racks versus silence versus celebration. Fans weren't debating basketball anymore. They were picking sides in a corporate divorce that felt personal, ugly, and irreversible. INAngel Reese felt it first in the comments. Support turned conditional. Praise turned into... Every post was dissected. Every emoji became evidence. Where's the Reebok tag? Why hasn't she promoted the shoe? Did they drop her? Questions stacked faster than answers. And the lack of clarity only sharpened the knives. When Reese posted a vague message about loyalty and knowing your worth, it didn't calm the storm, it fed it. Inside Chicago, the emotional pressure spilled into the locker room. Teammates tried to shield her, but silence has weight. Practices grew tense. Conversations stopped mid-sentence when she walked in, because when a player's brand starts bleeding, everyone worries about the splash. Cameras caught it. The clenched jaw, the shortened answers, the stare that lingered too long after missed shots. This wasn't just about endorsements anymore. It was about identity cracking under a spotlight that no longer loved her back. Media shows circled like vultures. Analysts spoke in careful tones, but the message was brutal. Market correction, brand fatigue, consumer choice. Those words landed harder than any box score critique. Reese wasn't being judged for rebounds or effort. She was being judged by spreadsheets, by sell-through rates, by sentiment analysis, by metrics that don't care about confidence or controversy. And then Sophie Cunningham walked into it like a storm wearing a smile. Into it like a storm wearing a smile. Her appearances multiplied. Interviews leaned warm, not confrontational. Brands didn't hedge, they celebrated. Clips of fans lining up for her merch went viral. Screenshots of sold-out pages spread like receipts. Commentators framed her as unexpected, authentic, easy to root for. The subtext was cruel. This is what stability looks like. This is what sponsors want. Fans mirrored the shift. Jerseys became symbols. Purchases became votes. Some defended Reese fiercely, calling the backlash unfair, racially charged, misogynistic. Others argued the market was neutral and unforgiving. The debate exploded beyond basketball into culture wars, dragging the league with it. The WNBA's official accounts stayed neutral, amplifying highlights but avoiding the fire. That silence spoke volumes. INAngel Reese's camp reportedly pushed back, leaking optimism, hinting at new conversations, suggesting patience. But patience doesn't trend. Doubt does. Rumors multiplied about clauses, about pauses, about restructuring. Each rumor chipped away at confidence. Retail employees posted photos of unsold stock. Influencers stopped algorithms noticed. Emotionally, the toll became visible. Reese's interviews grew guarded. Her defiance sounded thinner. She spoke about focus, about blocking out noise, but the noise followed her onto the court. Every missed layup felt symbolic. Every whistle felt loaded. Every camera angle felt like judgment. The crown she once wore now pressed into her temples. Meanwhile, Cunningham's rise sparked resentment in unexpected places. Veterans whispered about favoritism. Rivals questioned the league's priorities. Younger players watched closely, learning a hard lesson in real time. Attention isn't power, conversion is. The emotional fallout rippled outward, shaking trust between players and sponsors. Between image and reality, by the time a major sports outlet ran the headline, WNBA's brand shift is happening in real time. It was already too late to control the narrative. The public had decided this was a turning point, a reckoning, not just for INAngel Reese, but for how stars are chosen, elevated, and discarded. And as the noise peaked, a new rumor surfaced, one that froze conversations mid-scroll. A private meeting, a renegotiation request, a last-ditch attempt to salvage a deal thought to be secure. If true, it meant the next chapter wouldn't be loud outrage or quiet recovery. It would be desperation colliding with reality, and that's when everything would change. The meeting wasn't on any calendar, no press release, no leaked itinerary, just a quiet flight, a private room, and a conversation that was never supposed to exist. While fans were still arguing online and analysts recycled talking points, INAngel Reese was sitting across from people who don't care about hashtags, don't care about feelings, and don't care about narratives unless they convert into numbers. This wasn't a comeback tour. This was a reckoning. Sources say the tone shifted immediately. No smiles, no hype reels, just charts, timelines, and uncomfortable pauses. Reese wasn't there to be celebrated. She was there to be evaluated. Every data point told the same story. Awareness high, conversion low, volatility rising. The room didn't attack her talent. They questioned her trajectory. And that distinction mattered more than anything. Because then came the twist. No one saw coming. The deal wasn't technically dead. It was suspended, not canceled, not terminated, frozen. A word that sounds neutral until you realize what it really means. Frozen deals don't come back to life on their own. They wait, they watch, they demand proof. Proof that perception can be reversed. Proof that controversy can be controlled. Proof that momentum can be rebuilt without burning bridges. That's when the conditions were laid out. Not publicly, not kindly. Privately. A recalibration period, limited visibility, reduced activation, a chance to realign. The kind of language that sounds corporate but lands like a punch. This wasn't a punishment, it was a test. And failing it wouldn't just end one partnership, it would follow her everywhere. INAngel Reese listened. She didn't argue. She didn't storm out. That alone shocked the room. But the real shock came when she made a countermove of her own. Because while everyone assumed she was begging to get back what she lost, Reese did something else entirely. She asked for time, not to wait, to rebuild, on her terms, with control over messaging, appearances, and most importantly, less noise, fewer statements, no clapback, a reset that would feel unnatural to someone who built an empire on being loud. The executives exchanged looks. Silence is risky. Silence kills engagement. Silence can erase relevance overnight. Reese knew that, and that's why she leaned into it. At the same time, another meeting was happening across the country. Sophie Cunningham, smiling, relaxed, unburdened. Her numbers spoke for her. Her momentum didn't need defending. Brands weren't testing her. They were expanding her. New categories, new demographics, long-term planning. While Reese was being measured for survival, Cunningham was being measured for scale. The contrast couldn't have been sharper, and then the leak hit. Not from Reese's camp, not from the brands, from somewhere in between. A single sentence buried in an industry newsletter. One major endorsement is being restructured, not replaced. That word again, restructured. Suddenly the narrative cracked. Fans paused. Analysts hesitated. Was Reese really out tour? Was she being repositioned? Was this a fall or a forced evolution? And why? If she was truly toxic, was the door still open? The league noticed too. Quietly, because this wasn't just about shoes or sponsorships anymore. It was about control. About who decides the future stars of women's basketball, the players, the brands, or the algorithms. INAngel Reese walked out of that meeting without a deal, without a guarantee, and without applause. But she walked out with something else. A window, narrow, dangerous, temporary, and windows don't stay open forever, because if the next few months don't change everything, if performance doesn't match promise, if silence doesn't turn into intrigue, if doubt doesn't become curiosity, then the freeze becomes permanent. The pause becomes an ending, and the league moves on without looking back. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham's next announcement is already scheduled, not leaked, scheduled, and when it drops, it may not just confirm who's winning this battle. It may decide who never gets invited back to the table again. This is the moment where the story leaves the screen and lands in your hands. Because what you just witnessed isn't just another WNBA headline or another rivalry debate. It's a warning shot about how fast the league is changing, how ruthless the business side has become, and how quickly today's star can become tomorrow's question mark. INAngel Reese's situation isn't isolated. It's a case study. One wrong move, one mistimed comment, one dip in performance, and the entire machine recalculates without mercy. So now the question turns to you. Do you believe INAngel Reese can flip the narrative, lock back in, and force the brands to chase her again? Or has the league already chosen its next faces while quietly closing the door behind her? Is this a temporary stumble, or the beginning of a permanent shift in power? And what about Sophie Cunningham? Is this proof that authenticity and timing now beat hype and controversy every single time? Or are we watching the league crown a new kind of star right in front of us? Drop your honest take in the comments. No filters, no safe answers. If you want the next leak, the next twist, and the behind-the-scenes moves the mainstream won't touch, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications right now, because this story isn't over, and the next chapter could rewrite the entire WNBA landscape. Next chapter could rewrite the entire WNBA landscape.